Okay, it says, when a person mentions to an intention to engage in sexual intercourse and or sexual play with you, you ask these following questions. Do you truly want to engage in sexual intercourse and or sexual play with me, or do you want to know that you can if you want to? In other words, just ask the question. All problems are solved, all misunderstandings are solved through the process of what? Can't emphasize this enough. Questions and answers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, why do you intend to engage in sexual intercourse and or in sexual play with me? Now, either party, two people involved, can ask that question. Why do you intend to engage in sexual intercourse and or sexual play with me? You must have a reason. What is your reason? Why me? You can always ask that. Why me? Number 3, when and where do you intend to engage in sexual intercourse and or in sexual play with me? Number 4, how often do you intend to engage in sexual intercourse and or in sexual play with me? You may want to know is, wait a minute, is this supposed to be a one-night stand or what? What is this? What kind of relationship is this going to be beyond this? You might have a series, maybe 500 or 600 questions after that first question. When and where do you intend to engage in sexual intercourse? How often? What do you intend to do with me or about me after you have engaged in sexual intercourse or sexual play with me? Do you believe that sexual intercourse and or sexual play with me will help to improve constructive communications between us?
That's number 6, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you can ask that as number 1 if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if the person brings it up, you can say, now, do you think that's going to improve constructive communications between us? Let's get this straight right from the beginning. Is this going to contribute to a constructive relationship in any way? If not, let's get that straight right now, right out of the gate. See, what you're doing here now is eliminating that thing called misunderstanding. Everybody will be on the exact same page.
Okay.
There'll be no misunderstanding. It ain't going to be no arguments because you're going to get all that cleared up before anybody makes a move. So all of this so-called conflict between male and female, you want to nip that in the bud before conflict can even arise, has a possibility of arising.
Okay.
Won't be no conflict. First trip to that bedroom, not going to be any conflict as a result of that first trip, and there's not going to be any conflict ever after. Why? Because you got it all straight before you went there. That's supposed to be the codified procedure. Number 7, do
Yes,
you
sir.
believe that sexual intercourse and our sexual play with me will help us to think, speak, and act to oppose white supremacy in a more effective manner? If so, how? Now, this is a very important question. And why is it in the code book? It's because, one thing, if you're non-white and you're on this planet, the system of white supremacy is going to affect everything that you do, whether you are with someone else or not. And so everything that you do with someone else, particularly when it comes to sexual intercourse or sexual play, you have to be on the same page about ending racism. Otherwise, you don't have any business in bed in the first place.
Okay.
You both have to be committed to that. That's got to be an understanding.
Yes, sir.
Why? Because it's going to affect your so-called relationship in every aspect, economically, educationally. When you have offspring and all like that, now you got to go around and start talking about where we're going to send the children. All that should have been thought about before you got in bed in the first place.
Okay.
All right? Do you believe that sexual intercourse and our sexual play with me will help us to think, speak, and act in support of the production of justice, meaning guaranteeing that no person is mistreated, including each other, and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help, including each other.
Yes, sir.
Since you all two are there together, so you believe in justice. There's not going to be any mistreatment of any kind. That's got to be understood. I'm not going to mistreat you. I don't care what happens. I am not going to mistreat you.
Yes, sir.
All right? And we're going to get that straight right out, before anything, before this conversation ends. And it gets serious beyond that. All right. Otherwise, there won't be any sexual intercourse and our sexual play until we are agreed that we both believe in justice, which means just guarantee that nobody gets mistreated.
Yes, sir.
And guarantee that the person that needs help the most will get the most constructive help. See, now this slows down everything. But when it comes to this sexual matter with non-white people, maybe everything needs to be a little slow.
Okay.
Just like building a nice house. It might be slow. Having a nice meal. Just, sit there and gobble right quick, and then get indigestion and whatnot. No. Slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Take everything into consideration. All right? You get more out of it in the long run.
Yes.
Rather than what we usually get. And what has turned out to be a disaster
Yes,
among
sir.
black people. That's male-female interaction.
Yes, sir.
It is a total disaster. All of it. 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you believe that we can engage in sexual intercourse and our sexual play with each other without, in any way, doing unjust harm to each other or to others? And if so, how? And answer that question. See, these are questions that should be asked when there's an intention to engage in sexual intercourse and or sexual play.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Both people, both persons can ask, it's equal. It's equal. It's not the male asking the female and she's got to answer the questions, but you're not answering nothing. No. Both people have to agree to answer and ask these questions. It's totally democratic.
Okay.
Now, if you don't agree to do this, then you can't come up Monday morning quarterbacking. You've jumped in bed now. You've had all that sex. Marathon sex. All right? Now you begin to ask these questions. That doesn't work.
Okay.
The questions should be asked and answered before. In other words, they're not in a box.
Okay. All right.
Questions and answers are never in a box.
Yes, sir.
Questions and answers stand alone.
Yes, sir.
Because every question has what? An answer.
Yes, sir.
Even if the answer is, I don't know. Oh, baby, I don't know the answer to that question. I have to think about that where you think about it, Buster. Otherwise, get your hands off my legs.